Hello and welcome. I'm Jennifer Raye, and in today's yoga practice, we're going to work with a yoga sequence that targets the kidney meridian and kidney chi in the body. So today's yoga practice will be a mix of somatic and really slow passive movement and more active standing work. So it should be accessible for most yogis, but do modify if needed. You can use props and really take your time with the movements so that you can really start to sense and feel this quality of kidney chi in your body. So according to traditional Chinese medicine, we have these channels of energy or qi that run through the body. And today we're going to focus on the kidney meridian. So the kidney meridian starts at the base of the foot. It starts on both feet, right at the base of the foot, right below the pad of the big toe and the second toe. And then it runs up along the inner line of the leg where it travels into the pelvis and then up along the front line of the body, just on either side of the navel. So when we activate the inner line of the leg and even the lower abdomen, we're targeting the kidney meridian. Now, of course, the organ of the kidneys and the adrenals lie near the lower to mid back. And then the adrenals, they just sit right on top of the kidneys. And of course, in the Western perspective of the body, but also very much the Eastern perspective of the body, the kidneys and the adrenals have a lot to do with our basic reserve of energy. They really provide a kind of stamina and overall quality of energy in the body. So in the traditional Chinese medicine perspective, as we deplete the kidney qi, we'll be experiencing more of things like fatigue, maybe issues with the bones or the teeth. We could have issues with the lower back or the knees. And so it's particularly important to build the kidney qi if we're feeling fatigued and depleted. We can do this by, of course, targeting the meridian of the kidney, which we'll do a little bit today, and then also supporting the lower back through specific poses using props, and we'll explore that as well. So for today's practice, do make sure that you have a lot of props. We're going to start on the floor, so see how I've covered my mat with a soft blanket, and you'll want to do the same at home to really get the full benefit. You could also come right onto a wood floor as long as you have soft clothing on and soft socks so that you can slip and slide around. So we'll start with some somatic movements on the floor, really sliding and gliding, and then eventually we'll fold up our blanket and do more standing work on a sticky yoga mat. You will also want to have a yoga strap or a belt, and then also some sort of cushion like a bolster or other cushion at home. If you have blocks, that's really great to have nearby as well. And then just one final note, if you are interested in exploring more of how we can combine traditional Chinese medicine principles and yoga, you'll want to check out my course, TCM for Yoga, and you can find all of the information over on that site about that course that I offer. So I hope you enjoy the class. Let's begin here by coming down onto our back. You can just slide your legs out in front of you and then bring your arms to your sides. As you come down, make sure that you have a bolster and a strap nearby. If you don't have a bolster, that's fine. You can use just a folded blanket. Just use whatever you have at home. Okay, and then slowly coming to release down onto the floor, bringing your legs out from underneath you and releasing your arms to your sides. Okay, and then go ahead now and just release the weight of your body. Allow your bones to drop. In the Chinese medicine perspective of the body, the bones are related to this deep reserve of energy, the kidney jing and the kidney qi. So take a moment to feel the bones, this skeletal structure of the body. Feel the heaviness of the heels, heaviness of the femur bones, the pelvis. Let your shoulders and arms drop. One of my teachers likes to say, empty before you begin. Really taking a moment here to empty. Empty the body of tension. Empty the mind as much as possible. Let the breath flow freely. Okay, and then just bring your attention to your lower back and sense here, well, how's the lower back feeling today? You might notice that the lower back lifts up away from the floor in a gentle curve. Yeah, and then also feel into the lower belly. Just feel lower belly. Maybe sensing the rise and fall of breath there below the navel. Great, and then from here, go ahead and bend one leg, plant foot. We'll bring the arms out to a T beside us, like so. Okay, our first movement here, you keep your head down on the floor. You just simply drop your knee across your body and rock the leg on an angle away from your belly. Kind of like you're doing a twist. You lift the hip up off the floor, feel the arching in the lower back. And then on the exhale, you come back down through center, letting the hip release. Let's try that a few times. You rock onto the inner edge of the foot. Press off that medial arch of the foot, inner arch of the foot, and pull your knee and thigh bone away from your belly. Exhale to release. We're starting here really slowly, so just moving at your own pace. Find your breath. And drop into the felt sense in the body. Well, these first few movements might be new to you, so simply explore here. It's not, really a right way to do it. Instead, it's so much more about breathing and feeling. Just initiating some movement, of course, into the lower back. This area of the lumbar spine where the big weighty vertebrae lie in the lower back. And then also here, activating and pressurizing the area of the kidneys through the arching. Yeah, one more like that. And then slowly, slowly releasing back through center. And we'll slide the leg out. Let's try other sides. So bending and planting the foot. You rock onto the inner edge of the foot, dropping the knee on an angle away from the belly. Arch the lower back and lift the hip. And exhale to return. Let's try that a few times. Dropping knee across the body. And exhale to return. Keep going like that. Feeling and sensing the breath. These first few movements are a part of a much larger body of work developed by a teacher named T.S. Little. This work is called Satya, Sensory Awareness Training for Yoga. So simply feeling here the breath as it travels down into the belly, the arching of the spine. This work is meant to unwind tension that is deeply held in the body. Feel the rotation here in the lower back. And the gentle shortening on that side of the lower spine. And finishing the one you're on there. And then coming all the way back through center and sliding legs out. Let's bend both legs now, planting feet. Bring feet a little bit wider than your hips. We'll interlace the fingers and place the hands behind the head. Elbows down. From here now, pin your elbows to the floor and tip your hips forward like you're arching your lower back. So if I was there, I could slide my hand underneath your lower back. Nice big arch, tipping hips forward. Take a deep inhale. And then exhale, round the spine, lift the head up off the floor and scoop your tailbone under. Inhale to lower. Tip hips forward into anterior tilt. Arch the neck. So you slide your chin up to the ceiling. Head stays down. Exhale to lift up, like a little sit-up, scooping tailbone under. Yeah, keep going like that. Just feel your breath. Hips stay on the floor the whole time. Just you're rocking the pelvis back and forth. On the inhale, you take the anterior tilt, and on the exhale, you take the posterior tilt. Let the breath be free. Smoothing out the breathing. And as you inhale, feel the broadening and expansion through the belly. And as you exhale, really feel the lower back press down towards the floor. And keep going like that. A few more in your own time. And on this next one, slowly lowering, release your arms, slide legs out, and simply pause. A big part of connecting to the kidney chi is about connecting to the pause. So the kidneys, the water element, are the most yin part of the cycle. So really slowing down and simply sensing into the lower back, noticing any little flush of heat or sensation into the lower spine, lower belly. Yeah, good. And then from here, we'll bend the legs. And this time, go ahead and grab your strap. And we'll loop the strap onto one foot, extending the foot up towards the sky. So see how I've created a loop here. Then you place the loop over the heel as much as possible. You can make the loop
bigger or smaller as per your capacity. And then we'll place the palm of the hand through the loop like so. Okay, now you could stay here with the bottom leg bent. If it's available to you, you can straighten the bottom leg towards the floor. Now extend both legs and keep that bottom leg active if you're extending it as well. So don't forget about the bottom leg. Really press the thigh bone down into the floor as you press out through your heels. So here we're lengthening the back line of the legs. Of course, this is where the hamstring lies, along the back of the thigh. Press the thigh bone away from you of that upper leg. This is also where the urinary bladder meridian lies, all the way along the back line of the leg. So through any kind of stretches where we're opening the back line of the leg, we are also targeting the bladder meridian in the Chinese system. Take a few breaths right there. Good, and then we'll place a prop, either your bolster or your folded blanket, right up against the outer hip of that upper leg. We'll bring the opposite arm out to T and then draw the leg open towards the prop. Now really pin the opposite leg down, that down leg, into the floor. Don't let the hip lift. Press out through the inner heel of the upper leg and turn or spin the fibers of your abdomen away from your upper leg. Now make sure that the upper leg is supported. So you may need to kind of wedge your prop into the outer leg, outer hip area. You want to support the leg. This makes it a little bit more restorative for the tissues. And again, you can always adjust the strap. I'm showing with the modification using the strap. If your leg is a little bit more open, you could grab the big toe and go this way, opening. Okay, so many variations depending on our individualized bodies. Breathing. Keep turning your belly away from your upper leg. So here you may notice the activation of the inner seam of the leg. This is where the kidney meridian runs, all the way from the base of the foot up into the pelvis. The kidney is the innermost meridian of the yin meridians of the leg. So again, it is the most yin quality in the body, this water element energy. From this Eastern perspective, the kidney channel is one of the channels that really helps to feed and nourish the reproductive organs in the deep abdomen. So related to ovaries, all of the reproductive organs, the testes, etc. So just feel now the breath into the belly. Good, and then bringing the leg back up through center, and we'll try other side, popping over. You could bring the prop over to the other side. And we'll start by looping the strap through and extending the leg straight up to the sky. It's helpful to get the loop on the heel if you can. Just make sure the buckle's not on your skin. It'll be a little more comfortable that way. And then if you'd like, you can extend the bottom leg down towards the mat. Keep both legs active. So lift your knees to engage the quads. Press the thigh bone of that lower leg down into the floor. Then press your thigh bone, the femur of the upper leg, away from your belly. You could bring your opposite arm out to T if you'd like. Pausing there, lengthening the back line of the leg. Right from the Achilles tendon, back of the heel, up through the back of the knee, of course stretching the gastrocnemius, back of the leg and the hamstring. Soft, steady breath. Invite your lower back to settle. Good, and then from here, really pin that lower leg down. Don't let the hip lift. And we'll draw the upper leg over towards the prop. Can wedge your prop right up against your outer hip, outer leg. Again, use more props if you need. So if you can't quite contact the prop, then place a folded blanket or another block until you feel supported here. Now turn the fibers of your abdomen away from your upper leg and press out through the inner heel to find that activation along the inner seam, all the way up into the pelvis. So one of the ways that we can work with the Chinese medicine meridians in our yoga practice is through this targeting of the channel in poses. So here we're really opening and lengthening the kidney meridian through the inner leg in order to feed blood and fluid and qi into the lower pelvis, reproductive organs, the uterus, etc. So feel here, sense. Soft and steady breath as we hold this pose for just about a minute longer. Good, and then draw the leg back through center. From here, we'll loop both feet through the strap, like so. You can make this loop a little bit bigger if needed, and then we'll place both hands through the loop. Okay, now from here, press out through your heels. This is kind of like the Tadasana pose, when you're in the standing pose. So imagine that you're in the standing pose, you're standing on the ceiling. Press out through those heels evenly and drive your thigh bones away from your belly. Good. Keep your legs strong by lifting your kneecaps. And if you're able to, you can release the grip on the strap. Keep your legs active and reach your arms up and overhead. Notice any little activations that occur in your abdomen Keep your lower back broad. If this starts to feel too challenging, then you just bring your hands back to your strap. 3 more breaths. Keep engaging your legs and lifting your kneecaps. There's a gentle internal rotation of the thigh bones, rolling in towards the midline. Good. 1 more breath. And then bringing your hands back to your strap. And from here, place the palms of your hands through the strap, and we'll lift the head up off the floor, draw the chin into the chest, and round the spine. Just a gentle pressure in the throat as you draw the chin in. Rounding spine. Now press out through your heels. And stretching the whole back line of the body. The bladder meridian not only runs along the back of the legs, but also up along either side of the spine. So the kidney and bladder meridians, they are related and connected. So it's good to activate them both. Good, and then you go ahead and release. Coming back down and popping strap off. From here, we'll roll to one side. Release your head to your lower arm like so. Okay, and then just feel the dropping of the lower part of your body. So hips, ribs, and we'll bend our legs and draw the knees into the chest like so. Take a moment here to just feel the ground, dropping, settling. And then we extend the top leg out in front of us here, and we're going to use the lower hand to grab a hold of that extended leg. So from here, I grab extended leg like so. And just pause there for a moment. See how the knees are stacked. And then we take the upper hand and grab a hold of the leg as well, and we round forward. So I'm going to draw my head in towards my chest, and once again, just feel that rounding quality in the spine. And sort of tuck your head into the arms. And press out through that extended leg. Now, if you can't get a good grip, then you use a loop here. Loop the strap through the foot. Yeah, good. And then come on out. This time you keep a hold with the upper arm, and I'm going to take my lower arm and spin it off to the side as I extend my bottom leg. So now my bottom leg is going to go towards the back of my mat. So you may need a strap here if you can't quite get a good grip. I'm going to turn to face the floor with my belly. So turn the belly open as I still hold on to that extended leg. Okay, so see how now my bottom leg is extended, top leg is extended, like so. Turn the fibers of your belly over. Now this is a stretch definitely for the inner leg, inner groin. And we do this movement in many ways in our yoga practice. So again, if you can't quite grab a hold of the foot, this is where you'll use the strap. I'll show that variation. You're going to strap the foot like so. And then you can come into the pose this way. Okay, so just another entry point to really get that activation in the inner groin before we do our standing work. Now tuck the opposite toes under and turn the belly. And pause there. And sensing, feeling. That's right. Really great. And then from here, you're going to bend your leg that you're grabbing a hold of. Bend that leg and we'll roll all the way onto our back. Releasing and sliding legs back out again. Okay, so for those of you at home, you can just take the other side, rolling onto your other side. I'm going to sit up so that you can see. We'll go on to the other side this way. So from here now, you're laying on your side, like so, and then hug your knees into your chest. And just pause there. Just feel the ribs drop, feel the hips drop. And then you extend the top leg out in front of you there. Okay, we start by grabbing the underside of the foot, the inner foot. You can use upper arm to grab the top of the foot, and we round forward. Again, if you can't quite get a good grip, there's no problem there. You just use a strap. I'll show that variation. So you would go here, and then you can kind of curl in that way. So feel the rounding of your spine as you draw the head in. Yep. And then for this next variation here, you're going to extend your bottom leg, as we did earlier, out behind you. Tuck the toes, and you roll all the way onto your belly like so. Okay, and so I'm just showing the variation with the strap, like so. You could grab the foot if that's available to you here. Whichever variation you're doing, really think of turning your belly now as you settle towards the floor. Dropping and settling. Good, and then you go ahead and bend that top leg as you roll all the way onto your back once again, and just pause there. Releasing and letting go. Okay, extending legs. Breathing. And hug your knees into your chest. You can rock a little bit side to side. And then we'll roll all the way over onto our side and press our way up to a seated position. So we've been down there for a little while. Take your time as you come up to a seated position. And then we'll fold our blankets and just place the blankets and the props off to the side of the mat. For our next setup, you'll need some props underneath you. So if you have blocks, that works really well. Otherwise, you can use another prop. So just use what you have. We're going to place one block underneath us this way. And the other block out behind us. Sit nice and tall. Now see how my sitting bones are on the prop. You want to make sure that you're comfortable here. This is the Virasana pose, so make sure that your toes are pointing back and the heels are just on the outsides of the hips. If this causes any kind of compression in your knees, you can modify by taking more height underneath you, or you could even place a folded blanket behind the back of the knee. From here, reach one arm out behind you. Inhale, opposite arm goes up.
And then exhale, we'll twist. Grab a hold of the outer leg and turn your abdomen open. Lift your spine nice and tall. And move on your exhale. And stay right where you are and de-rotate your head. Turn your head to the front of your mat. Keep twisting open. Good, and then come back through center. And we'll go other side, reaching arm around. Inhale to reach up. And exhale to twist. And lift your spine tall to turn the belly and the chest open. Move on your exhale. And stay right where you are and de-rotate your head. Turn your gaze to the front of the mat. Keep turning your belly open. Good, and then come back through center. And pause. Good, and then from here, let's pop the props off to the side and we'll come into our first downward facing dog. And so plant the palms of your hands to the floor. And tuck your toes under and reach your sitting bones up. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Now from here, really lift your sitting bones nice and high and press your thigh bones back. Engage your legs by lifting your kneecaps. And drop the weight of your skull. And take 3 complete breaths. Good, beautiful. And then bending knees, come all the way down to the floor. And from here, we're going to come up to standing and see how I have my mat right up against the wall. So set that up. We'll come right up to the wall, and for this first setup, we're going to place one foot towards the baseboard and then the other foot forward for our Trikonasana. Okay, so from here, the back foot is on a bit of an angle. You want to press the outer edge of the back heel towards the baseboard. The front foot generally is about intersecting the arch of the back foot. And then today, let's keep both legs engaged by drawing the kneecaps up towards the belly. Now, you may need a block. I really highly recommend using the prop to start, and then you can always come down to the floor later. Now from here, engage the legs, so lift your kneecaps. Inhale, reach the front arm up, and then reach forward, placing hand to block for the Trikonasana. Okay, now once again, we're activating the inner arch of the foot and inner seam of the leg all the way up into the groin. Okay, so really lift the medial arch of the foot up towards the inner ankle up towards inner knee.
You can place your hand to the block here and turn your belly open to the side of the mat. Make sure you have a nice long stance. Keep pressing the outer edge of the back heel into the wall as you turn your abdomen open. You're welcome to bring your upper arm to the sky if you'd like, or you could have your upper arm to your hip today. Remember, we're really working this kidney chi, which is the inner line of the leg up into the abdomen and the torso. Draw the sitting bone of the front leg forward as you turn your belly open. Good. One more breath here. And then you can look down, bend the leg, and return back to standing. Let's try other side. So stepping through for the Trikonasana. So back foot goes to the baseboard. Really press the outer edge of the back foot towards the wall. Engage both legs by pulling your kneecaps up. You can place the block to the inside of the front foot today, and then inhale, reach the front arm up, and exhale, we fold. You can place your hand to the block. You can always take more height here as well. So you could use the chair, for example, and just place your hand to the chair. If you don't have props, try placing your hand to the shin. Get a good grip. And then press into the leg to turn your abdomen that way. Really helpful to use the props. Okay, wherever you are now, press into that lower hand and turn your abdomen open. You could bring your upper arm to the sky or maybe to the hip. Focus on lifting the inner arch of that front foot up towards the inner ankle up towards inner knee. Turn your abdomen open and pull the sitting bone of the front leg forward. Steady breath into the belly. Nice, really great. And then look down, see the balance, and release. Stepping feet forward. Okay, so from here now, bring your feet together into your Tadasana pose. Feet together. Press down through your heels and engage your legs. Lift your kneecaps up. You can close your eyes for a moment, bringing your hands to your sides. And find your grounding. The water element, kidney chi, is all about this deep force in the body. Feel the stability of your bones. And drop down into the earth. Nice, and then you can open eyes. We're going to return to the wall for one more setup here. So this time we're going to place the foot once again into that setup of the Trikonasana. So one heel goes to the wall and opposite foot steps forward. Okay, this time I'm going to place my block to the outside of the front foot. It's a nice long stance. You bend your front leg and then you place your front hand down towards the block. From here, I'm going to scoot my front foot a little bit back, and then I lift my back leg up to the wall for the half moon. Okay, so now press into both heels and turn your belly open. Okay, I'll give you a moment to get into the pose. So you take the Trikonasana, you bend your front leg, place your hand to the block, and then as you lift your upper leg to the wall, you're going to walk your hand a little bit forward. Turn your belly open now. I recommend not worrying about turning your head up towards the sky. Today we really want to feed energy into the lower belly, so focus on that. Press into your heels, keep your legs really active by lifting your kneecaps, and then turn your abdomen open as you draw the sitting bone of the standing leg in. You could bring your arm out to T if you'd like, up towards the sky. You could have your arm to your upper leg if that feels a little bit more stable. Breathe here. Once you've found the balance, use the wall as a support. Keep pressing into your feet. And feel breath. Good, and then look down, see the balance, and step out other side. Okay, back to the baseboard, and then we'll go ahead and take the other side, stepping feet together. Okay, opposite foot to the baseboard. Take that nice long stance once again, and we place the block to the outside of the front foot. Engage the back leg, really press that back heel into the wall for a moment. And then we'll bend the front leg, place the hand to the block. From here, you scoot the front foot a little bit back, and then now as you lift the back leg up, you're going to walk this front hand forward. Okay, now you do want to make sure that the standing leg is directly underneath the hip. Press into both heels and turn your belly open. Get the engagement of the legs. Really lift your kneecaps and draw the sitting bone of the standing leg forward. You could now have the upper hand go up towards the sky, or just bring the upper arm to the leg for now. Remember to activate now the inner arch of the standing leg up towards the inner knee. Breathing deeply. And feeling the breath into the belly. This is the region of this deep core energy we have in the body. Really, really important to nourish all of the reproductive energy in the lower abdomen. This is a particularly helpful pose for women to really open up the space in the pelvis. And breathing here. A few more. Really great, and then you can look down, step the foot back to the wall, and we come up to standing, stepping feet together. Find your Tadasana. Let's place the block this time between the inner thighs. Squeeze inner thighs to the block, release your arms to your sides. Closing eyes if you'd like. Once again, connect to the bones, the sense of grounding, stability, this deep kidney chi. Nice, and then we'll release. Bring block off to the side, and we'll return now to the floor. So this time you're going to place the bolster here behind you. We'll use the blanket as a little bit of a prop underneath the bolster, like so. Okay, and then you'll need your blocks on either side. So this one's a little bit more of a restorative pose. So definitely you'll want to use a lot of props. Now see how I have a little bit of space between me and the prop? You bring your feet together, knees apart, and the blocks go underneath the knees. This is the Supta Baddha Konasana. We take the strap and we make the strap nice and big, the loop, And the loop goes around the body like so, on the inside of the knees and the outside of the feet. Cinch the strap nice and tight. And then pull the strap down so that it's resting on your upper buttock muscles. It's not up on your lumbar, up on your lower spine. It's lower than that. Make sure that it is snug, but not too tight. Again, support your knees with props. You can always take higher, like so, make sure that you're comfortable. I'll go here today. And then as you come back, do just a gentle tuck. So you want to pull pubic bone up to navel so that we can have a little bit more broadening across the abdomen. And we'll look at that in a minute. So take that movement and then slowly come back, resting your head now onto the bolster. Now, some of you may find that you need more height underneath the head. If you feel like the chin rocks up towards the ceiling, then you need to support underneath the skull to just get this length right at the back of the neck, drawing chin gently into the throat. You can bring your arms to your sides. So take your time setting your props up. As you settle, sense here into not only the broadening along the front of the body, this deep pelvic area, but also notice this gentle curve in the lower spine. So this is, in some senses, a supported back bend for sure, supporting the lumbar and supporting this area of the kidneys and the adrenals. Really important to support the kidney chi. This pose also activates the inner line of the leg. So this is again where the kidney meridian runs. And just through the act of supporting ourselves with props and staying in a posture that is more restorative, we are also in this way nourishing and nurturing the kidney energy, which is basically our deep reserve of stamina. So in many ways, our yoga practice should always nourish the kidney chi. We should always feel more restored after practice. So here, simply enjoy the restoration. Let go of tension that you discover. Just let the shoulders drop. Eyes can soften. Release and relax the jaw. Letting go, and dropping into a state of stillness, softness. This kind of posture doesn't require a lot of action or a lot of doing, and most likely it's not eliciting a lot of sensation. And that's perfectly okay. Now trusting that the shape and the space and time will do most of the work for us. Of course, after a period of action, it's also very helpful to have a period of rest. In this way, we balance yin and yang in our practice. And if you're at home and you'd like to stay longer, you're welcome to do that. For the sake of our video today, we're just going to continue. So you can pop the strap off and draw our legs together. And just extend now your legs out towards the floor for a moment. You could perhaps enjoy a bigger breath into your body. I just felt a big swell of breath myself, so just really letting that happen. Okay, and then you can roll to one side and press your way up to a seated position. And we'll take a very brief shavasana here today, our final resting pose, before we finish together in meditation. So for your shavasana, make sure that you're really comfortable and at ease. You could place a bolster underneath your knees. I recommend placing something over your body. Make sure that you're warm and comfortable. Releasing your arms to your sides. So I mentioned that the kidney and the bladder, these meridians and these organs, are related to the water element. Water element being the most yin. So in many ways our pose of shavasana is the most yin pose. It's really an opportunity to drop into the depth of our being. The stillness, the space, the letting go. There's a lot of potential in the water element. It's tapping into perhaps this potential of restoration, rejuvenation, that stillness and silence can bring us.
and stretch the body in any way that would feel good. Maybe rocking the head side to side. And then eventually rolling onto one side. And use your upper hand to press your way up to a seated position. And we'll come into a seated meditation now together, so taking a little bit of height underneath you. You could sit up on a bolster or a folded blanket. And placing your hands today down on your legs. And just rocking a little bit forward and back. And once again, draw your attention into the area of the lower spine. So feel the lower back draw in towards your body slightly. Lift your spine nice and tall. And sit with a quality of dignity. And collect and gather your attention right here. You could once again simply imagine or sense this meridian, this channel of chi running from the base of your foot, kidney 1 point, right below the pad of the big toe, all the way up the inner line of the leg, and then up into the pelvis. Perhaps feeling any broadening or space in your abdomen. And then the channel itself travels up along the front line of the body, just on either side of the navel, up to the top of the chest. Sensing that channel or imagining that channel. And breathing. And we'll bring the palms of our hands together. And if you'd like, you can bow down slightly, offering gratitude for this practice, gratitude for this time. And when we bring the benefits of our practice out into the world, and in this way, our practice benefits all beings everywhere. Thank you for your practice.